So Ovie from Love Island, Ovie Soko, is now speaking out about everything that he has endured post Love Island and why he had to take a break from social media and addressing very important issues. Hey guys, it's Morali. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. If you haven't already, click that button for daily and consistent content. Head over to my Instagram, subscribe to the channel, and then let's get into this video, guys. Daily and consistent. Daily and consistent. Today I'm busy as hell, but I'm taking the time out to get you guys some content because I'm daily and consistent. Damn. Ovie opens it up with this interview. He says, before I was on the show, I didn't really use social media. I think I had around 35 posts to my name. Being awarded a platform like that is privilege, and I want to use it for good, now that I have 2 million. People are used to scrolling through posts, being told they should look a certain way or own this car, whatever. But then it became hard to do that. In a world of this virus, lockdown, the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, people don't need to hear let's be positive on their timeline. People are fed up. When you watch a video like that of George Floyd's death, it isn't as simple as seeing it once. It plays over and over again in your head. It becomes traumatic. Like many black people, I could see myself in those shoes. I lived in the States for 7 years, in places like Alabama and Virginia, and I've been in cars pulled over by police officers. It's one of the scariest things I've ever experienced. And this is the issue. This is what I find very interesting, because I feel like people need to really speak out on their privilege, and they don't really do that. When I got to LA one time, and my friend picked me up, Latin descent, and we were in his car. Now his car wasn't insured, and we were driving down, and there's like a police car behind signaling, and he's like, we have to stop over. And I'm thinking, for flip's sake, we've seen, you just see stuff on Twitter, you see stuff, I'm thinking, what the hell is gonna happen now? So he comes up to us, he looks at us, and he says, you know, your car's not insured, they can scan the plate number. And he was just like, next time, make sure it is. And then gives a nod in the head, and everything's okay. And then we just simply drive off. Like, it was absolutely fine, crystal clear. And there are people who aren't privileged enough where you be in situations where shit like this keeps on happening, where people are going to pull out of the car, tasered, shot, killed, bam, life is over. So you need to recognize your privilege, and not only recognize it, speak up about it, because it helps to change some kind of awareness. It's not because of the police have come out all guns blazing, Ovie says as he continues. That's not what I'm saying. But knowing that things like that do happen in southern states is terrifying. It's being aware that people have been killed after being stopped by police. I read the news and people's social media posts about George Floyd. It felt like an overload, and I just had to get off Twitter and Instagram. I couldn't face watching those clips on repeat and then being bombarded with opinions from morning until night. So I stepped back quietly without announcing what I was going to do. I'm a huge advocate for Black Lives Matter movement, and as a lot of that is based online. You may think my silence as a decision not to post is an odd one, but I have my reasons. Firstly, when you're speaking out of a place of true hurt, none of us articulate everything we want to say. Interesting. No one is going to be able to when they are traumatized. It's not why I'm not a fan of people calling out other people's responses, saying they should have done this for that. When you're in pain, how are you going to say something perfectly? But I do understand where the other side is coming from. This is a moment where our voices have leverage and power, so there is a pressure to use them in the best way possible. The thing is, not everyone is in a position to be a frontline speaker. For example, John Boyega has been amazingly vocal, and I love him for speaking, but not everyone can do that. In every moment, everyone has their skills and ways in which they can help. In every team, you'll find people with different jobs. Not everyone in the kitchen can be the head chef. Not every footballer can be a striker. There are people behind the scenes planning long-term strategies, like organizing boycotts against companies that don't support the movement. We need the protesters to raise awareness. That's why it's very good to protest, guys. When you march, you feel so good. Protesting is very important. Not every racist is going to scream it from top of their lungs. They might even be tweeting BLM, but either consciously or subconsciously, they are doing something to uphold the system. We have to take the same approach, but in favor of change. I genuinely hope more people get involved in mentoring on the back of the Black Lives Matter movement, because young black people have so much to offer. They meant it as a compliment, but it was hard to take it that way. People were telling me I was a gentleman and changing the narrative. I think the saddest thing that came out of my time on Love Island, I received hundreds of messages afterwards from mothers and young black men. They were saying thank you for showing society that black men aren't just like what is generally portrayed in the media. They meant it as a compliment, but it was hard to take that way. People were telling me I was a gentleman and changing the narrative. It was BS. The way I behaved is not unique to black men. The public are typically used to seeing black men and cast enforcement roles such as, aggressors. I have so many friends who are just like me and do not fit the stereotype of the black males you see in the media and TV. I don't think I was cast on that show and expected to be that way. Bloop! I don't think I was casted on that show and expected to be that way, bloop, but I was. The responses had made me realize just how much influence the media and the images they put out have on the way whole communities are viewed. Of course, this is what it is. Institutionalized racism runs through every form of corporate world, from the media, judiciary, environmental. So in order for it to change, you can't just add something like a diversity quote or diversity person or tokenism person. You need to dismantle the entire system. When you are doing up a house, you bought a house now. You don't just add a cute flower pot and the house is nice. You don't do that now. You have to gut out the whole house, you take everything down, you take the walls down, everything, and then you rebuild it back up. That's exactly that's exactly a reflection of what happens when it comes to systems like this. You need to dismantle it entirely and build it back up. It helps me understand why the Black Lives Matter movement is such a shock to some people, even if I think it's crazy that they don't know or haven't heard about the systemic racism. Honestly, it's a shame that it's taken people locked at home with their phones and no other distraction to finally see what is happening around the world. This is what I'm saying. Because you see a lot of performative nonsense, and people are just they're now posting these black squares, and then they're posting that with their friends again, or they're putting up a tweet or that, or they're reposting something. And then suddenly it's now become something else. Like you're not doing it anymore. It's not a trend, guys. This is you're fighting. You're talking about people's lives. This is not a trend. This is why I've been doing this from 2016 on this damn channel. I've been talking about situations like this and trying to raise awareness back when I had under 1,000 views. So I've been talking about this because this is an important issue. You're talking about people's lives here. People see it as a trend, as a moment. Let me take this, let me take that, and then the next day it's as if they don't even. It's just the disrespect. It's so passive aggressive, but it's just at such a magnitude. It's really, really interesting. Damn. He talks about his own experiences, and he really goes in, and I'm glad that he does. Talks about mental health, and some influencers, content creators. I do agree. I think he's also relating to the fact that when he was getting slammed online. Although I feel like you could have just either said, something simple, or just said, what, I'm taking a break, my mental health, goodbye. Posting that at that I think he posted that at a very sensitive time. Let me know your thoughts on when it comes to this. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.